So I was born in England and my parents broke up when I was 2 years old. My mum went camping around that time and met some new friends there and moved to Scotland to live with them. So I grew up on an island on the west coast of Scotland, Cumbria, and I spent my childhood years there until I was 18. Around the age of 13, 14, I started experimenting with drugs, was going to parties a lot and just got involved in a group of friends that, to me, they were like family at the time. My mum was a Christian and so was my dad actually, and so they had done their best to raise me in the faith, but to me, it just didn't translate into the real world. I just wanted to have fun. And I hadn't really grown up. I didn't have my dad around. I didn't have a coach to sort of help prepare me for life. It was just my friends and me. I remember the first time that I tried weed and felt that I'd lost something on the inside from that experience. I remember walking down the road and thinking, I want to do what I want to do in life. I don't want people to tell me what to do anymore. I want to do things my way. I was smoking weed almost every day. I was having about 10 cigarettes a day. I'm 14 years old at this point. I started experimenting with Class A drugs. I started getting involved with crime to pay for those drugs. It reached a kind of a climax one day when I was at a fight at school. They immediately sent me to the hospital. I was bleeding down the side of my face. I've still got a scar today of that weapon that hit me on the side of my skull. My mum came out to meet me and she was just really upset. You know, I openly told her that I was experimenting with drugs and trying these things. She knew I was skipping school. So for her, seeing her so upset about this was a real low point. I just went upstairs and went straight to bed, and I felt like my soul had just been torn open. I had no purpose in life. My mum wasn't proud of me. I'd been kicked out of school. I was in trouble with the police. I was on regular substance abuse. There was no point in life anymore. So I lay in my bed and I said, God, if you're real, can you help me? Can you change my life? I'll serve you. I'll do whatever you want. And at that very moment, I felt like a supernatural experience. I'd never felt anything supernatural in my life until that point. And it was like electricity shot through my body. I was absolutely terrified, and I was so scared I said stop. And it stopped immediately. And I lay there thinking about, oh my goodness, like God is real. He's just proved it to me. And then I felt this peace, like a liquid love just filled up the room, and I saw a figure, and it's really hard to describe a supernatural experience. The best way I can say it is I sensed a figure walk in the room and it stood at the bottom of my bed, and I just knew that that was Jesus. And I knew that everything was going to be okay. And I knew that I couldn't go on doing the same things that I'd done. I didn't want to do any of that stuff anymore. I just wanted to pray and read the Bible. I got to the end of school and I had no idea what it meant to follow Jesus in the next season. And I just wanted to do missions work, so I signed up with an organization that ran missions out of New Zealand across Asia, the South Pacific and South America. And I spent the next 5 years telling people about Jesus and seeing people find hope through my story, which was incredibly humbling. I left my work in doing missions and got a job in a church doing youth work. That progressed over the last 7 years to becoming assistant pastor. The last 6 months has probably been the hardest of my life. I ended up going through burnout in my job about 6 months ago. I was doing a lot of running. I had to stop running because every time I was running, I was having panic attacks. And on one particular run, I was running along by the sea, and it just felt so heavy that it's like, God, where are you in all of this? I know you're there, but I need you now. And I just looked at the sea and I was like, I could just jump in right now and all this pain would be gone.
And I had that moment, an understanding for the first time in my life why people try to kill themselves. It's not because they don't care about the people around them, it's because they want to escape the sheer weight of the pain that they're experiencing in that moment. And I broke down and I started thinking about the only thing that's keeping me alive right now is knowing that I will be able to stop somebody else going through this pain. And so as I was running, I was just shouting out loud, just in the middle of town, shouting out loud, I'm gonna get through this for someone. I'm gonna be someone for someone else. It's not that God brings this pain on you, it's that it's already in you and God has to bring it out to heal it. And so I realized that some of my pain is actually stuff that I've carried for years. I thought I dealt with it, but I hadn't. At the end of the day, we've all got to die, and in this time I've really realized the priorities in life are our family relationships, the people who are close to us, and our offering to God, our relationship with God. And everything else, status, where we live, what car we drive, dreams and goals, how hard we've worked, all of that stuff really doesn't matter. God judges the integrity of our heart on how we've loved others and loved Him, and that's the privilege of every human. I have no doubts whatsoever that God has greater things. God lets us go through shaking periods to make us stronger, and I want to be able to model this for my kids.